My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Monster Train 2. Let's do it five times. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Awoken Hellhorn. Both of those are MT1 clans. I'm gonna hit it another 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, Stygian Guard and Melting Remnant. Again, both MT1 clans. I do just want to have a couple of runs in a row where I've got at least one of the MT2 clans involved. And so I'm happy here to see Lazarus and Melting Remnant, who I do think pair together quite well. A lot of them want units to die. We got 5 copies of Primitive Mold in the base deck, reform your random unit, 5 copies of Erratic Assistant, just an assistant unit that has Graft Scissor Hands, 9 damage equipment for 0 Ember. And finally, we have Baron Grail as our lead. Seraphiternus Chosen of Entropy means that I'm going to have to deal with both Sap and, more notably, Silence in the final fight. Got a Makeshift Golem in the base deck, 1 Ember 2 size, Armor 12, on Extinguish. Apply Armor 12 to friendly units. That's a great unit to then randomly reform because it comes back with 1 burnout, which means it just extinguishes again. 2 copies of Dripfall as well, 1 Ember Descend, and apply Dazed 1, and 2 copies of Explosive Reaction, apply 25 Unstable to a unit, and then deal 5 damage to it. Finally, we have the Echo of the Time Father, our Pyre Heart. Once per battle, we can freeze the cards in our hand. Alright. I think I need to get the artifact first here. When a friendly unit gains burnout against blustery stacks, do I want to run burnout units? I suspect the answer is no. Merchant of Steels next to the Remnant, Merchant of Magic Lazarus, Merchant of Magic Lazarus. That's a little bad, but it's also worth noting the equipment is much more impactful in a world where I'm running Lazarus League. So we could go Merchant of Arms, Merchant of Magic. 3 different kinds of card in a turn, gives us 1 Ember and draws 1 card, especially because we'll be playing a lot of equipment, so it's very easy for us to play a unit, an equipment, and a spell in the same turn. It hungers. The ability is Devour. Once every turn, you have the ability to sacrifice an assistant and gain their damage. The upgraded levels of that gain multiples of the damage on that unit. Let me see what lines I've done with Baron Grail. I'm trying to do lines I haven't done. I've never apparently taken a single level of Learning Limb. That is Artificer. The attached equipment gains 2 damage permanently, and that's when equipment is attached to any ally of this unit. I suspect that this works with the Erratic Assistants. That if I play Baron Grail and then I play the Erratic Assistants behind them, the Erratic Assistants will come in with 2 additional damage, and they will permanently gain that. I could be wrong, but that's my suspicion of how that works with grafted units. It'd be very cool if that's how it works. Otherwise, it's going to take a lot of effort to make it do anything. I'm drawing 1 less turn, that's fine. I do want as long as possible to play here, so we'll do something like this. Yeah, it worked. Cool. Neato. I'll play a spell just to draw a card. Gives us the ability to play the Spear Steward. Nice. Explosive Reaction now helps us take down that line. Erratic Assistant. I ideally want to play all of my Erratic Assistants on the top floor. So I'll Dripfall one of them off of that floor just to make space for more. And then I'll do that again. Playing the final 2. I suspect I'm pretty well served by throwing the instability on the bottom line. Neat. I mean, like, it's not a huge amount of permanent scaling, but It matters. I think I'm best served here by going Vengeful Shard, double Drip Ball, and I'll echo the Time Father, the explosive reaction. There's no reason not to. Oh, I'm artificing this additional equipment from the Sis hands at the moment. Right, that makes sense. Explosive reaction. Ooh. I think I need to give at least one piece of equipment to Baron Grail, because it's any unit on the floor can trigger it. Yeah, that's a huge increase in damage. Then throw explosive reaction and Vengeful Shard. That's just enough. We're across the line. Literally just enough. Great, though. Oh, Sanguine Assistant. Hello, grafted unit. Especially a grafted unit with lifesteal equipment. Pretty impactful. Forevermore Serum. Give Reanimate. Don't need another copy of the explosive reaction, though. I do think more assistance is going to be a good idea for me. I certainly think I'm going to go capacity at least once, so I can support a lot of units. Ooh. Again, we're in a pretty easy position here of Dripfall is a good card, so was Unstable Reaction in the previous, but I already have 2 copies of both of them in the deck. That's what I started with, so I can afford to make choices like Molten Encasement. On Extinguish, apply Stealth 2 to friendly units. Popping that up on the top floor so that I can get that as a damage scaling floor and then just use the Molten Encasement to manage their defense. That'd be pretty good. Granted, the Remnant Banner is also really good. And my spells aren't great upgrades right now. The reason the Remnant Banner is really good is because there are a couple of things in there that give you golds. And the earlier you can get a gold-giving minion, the much more you can abuse the money it gives you. Dualism on Molten Encasement certainly seems to go. Doubles the amount of stealth it gives. I think I can just throw a Wickless Baron on another floor. I don't have to turn that down. That'd be too... No, that'd be too stubborn to do. I shouldn't turn that down. Let's give Molten Encasement the Dualism. I think these plus 14s, if I'm never going to use them on anything else, I do use them on the Erratic Assistance. They're just additional damage. Why would I not? I think I could give the Sanguine Assistant a quick attack as well, because then she can stand in the front line, she can attack very quickly, and then chump block afterwards, which you want to chump block with Assistance. I can't buy both the Strength Stone and the Speed Stone, so I've got to do Speed Stone. And either I take a Heartstone right now, which would probably just be Makeshift Golem to get an extra defender, which is probably not a good idea. I want you to die. Or I hold on to that money so that I can try and better utilize it in the... I guess if I get a really good spell at the end of this fight, it's possible I'm going to the Merchant of Magic, but it's probably the Merchant of Arms, to be fair. Uh-huh. Nice, we got Unstable Reaction. That's what I was hoping for. Do I need to dribble someone? Certainly don't need to Primitive Mold. Just hold these 2 additional cards for a future turn. No, I think I just hold. Not hold as in use the Time Father, I think. Hold as in do nothing. 3 different types of card. Get the Spear Steward on the bottom line to pump some additional damage into the Flagellant. We need some of that equipment plate on the top line. I'll echo the Time Father to keep the 0-cost makeshift golem in hands. We're going to be sending a Flagellant up, unfortunately. With 15 damage as well, and the Savage Spearman behind them. So I'm going to be taking about 21 here. Yeah, that's not great. Thankfully, we will kill the next floor. And we just got a bunch of equipment that's really going to help us pump out damage. Go. Pushes enough damage. Vampire Tooth got to go down. And I'll throw another Scissor Hands on the top line as well. I'll reform those additional units even if I don't get to play them right now. This midline's going to do a huge amount of work for us. That's a spell. Then I can play a minion and then a blight, giving me the ability to follow up with explosive reaction, and that'll do it. Wins the fight on that line. I clearly don't have a damage plan yet, and it's really harming me. Overworked Assistant with Reanimate 1, Incant, Gain Unstable. I mean, it's got some nice reach, and reach is certainly a problem for us right now. Remor Serum, giving Reanimate to something, or Pseudoscience for Lifesteal, Reanimate, or Spikes. I think giving Reanimate to something in a world where I have the Molten Encasement and the Makeshift Golem I do is pretty good, pretty important. Entombed Explosive just for damage certainly seems like it's part of what I need. I do want a Lazarus League unit, but also the Merchant of Arms and the additional healing to my Pyre right now seem pretty impactful. Alright, Merchant of Arms. I have an MT2 clan. Treat me nicely. Organ Harvester. On Slay, gain Reanimate 1. There's also Boiler Room, gain 1 Ember when a unit dies. Overgrowth Carapace is also worth noting, is there. I don't really think that's what I want to take. I'd have to already have a mini room for making small. What the Smidge Stone. To really feel confident about that. Boiler Room, pretty good. The on Slay, gain Reanimate 1 on a Entombed Explosive which has Reanimate. As long as every time it dies it slays something. I think that works. I don't think the Organ Harvester is deployable at all, but I will make Boiler Room deployable, and that'll make it much easier for me to avoid going for Ember. as any of my upgrades. Remove the versatile Ember Staff to gain 2 random artifacts. Oh, friendly units gain plus 10 damage, but -1 for every non-boss artifact you own. So that's eventually going to get kind of annoying. But right now, that is some of the additional damage I was asking for. Also, I am triggering versatile Ember Staff almost every other turn. So it's very valuable right now. With this boiler room, I'm gonna want to do this floor as low as possible, the one where all the units are allowed to die. But I also do need to make space for Baron Grail to summon Chump Blockers and then them to die. I can echo the Time Father, the Organ Harvester, to keep it until the right time. Nice. I'll also sack a Frozen Assistant on the top line, just gain some equipment, as well as defend a unit. And I'll get one ready on the midline for a similar purpose. Sanguine Assistant in midline attacks for 33. Right. If a unit dies before it ever triggers a single slay, Organ Harvester isn't really going to be helping us at all. So I played a Sanguine Assistant for 1 Ember. Let's play a Scissorhands for 0 more, and then a Vengeful Shard draws a card for us. Great, there's the Entombed Explosion. Although, frustratingly, the only place I can use it this turn is on the midline. I've got to set up it to reanimate, so then I can set up an Organ Harvest. Hell yeah. Oh, actually, I'm going to Dripfall Archeon off of the floor so I don't have to deal with him seeing all of these slays. I don't want you to get so mad about it, buddy. You're going to siphon some rage, and I'd prefer that not happen, actually. Come on. Yeah, both of them have 65 health on this floor, so the Fallen Champion hits the Entombed Explosive, kills it, it hits back for 65 damage, kills it, gains Reanimate, and it just does it again. It's working out grand. And Archeon's just up on the top floor, wasting his time. This is perfect. I wouldn't exactly describe myself as a huge fan of how many assistants I keep getting back in the draw there. However, I will say that's probably going to be very quickly rectified as soon as I have additional capacity and I can actually house all of these units. Nice. Wickless Baron with all of these turns of stealth on the bottom line is just going to win the fight by itself. Don't even have to worry about that entombed explosive. I'm gonna double daze the cowering sycophant. Kind of just to make a point of it. By the end of that, I think the Wickless was still on full health. Spike of the League! Consume, apply 1x reanimate. Great. Tome of Horrors. Apply Unstable 50 and reanimate 1. The problem with that is the damage dealt by Unstable will not contribute towards the slay, so it's not an appropriate thing to also throw on the Entombed Explosive slay thing. Formless Child, Extinguish, return a random defeated unit to your hand, apply plus 40. That just feels way too slow. It'll give me back just an Erratic Assistant most of the time. The Erratic Assistant with 40 additional damage. But, okay, now I have an Erratic Assistant with 40 additional damage. What do I do with that? Why do I care about having that? It seems very expensive for very little for us right now. Spike of the League, however, great. Pincushion. I think it's about as late as I could afford to take a pincushion. Gotta tell you, Wickless Tycoon's obviously where my heart's at, but let's do pincushion, because I haven't gotten to really utilize you, and I'm getting so many pieces of equipment. I put pincushion on the same floor as Baron Grail, and then all I have to do is just equip all of the equipment to you. Merchant of Steel's certainly important. I'd say Merchant of Trinkets is... the Merchant of Trinkets is either going to be incredible for me or garbage and nothing in between. And I don't know if I want to take that big swing right now, because I do feel a little behind the 8-ball. What upgrades realistically do I want? Straight up damage on some of the Erratic Assistants, fine, but like I don't have that much money, so probably not going to happen. Makeshift Golem, would I give you Endless? No. Would I give you Dualism? Probably not. Pincushion, I would give you Quick. I would also give you Multi-Strike. The rest of you, Wickless Baron, maybe Quick, maybe Smidgestone. That's so narrow. Alright, don't let me down, Merchant of Trinkets. Do not let me down. It Hungers would give me the ability one every turn to sacrifice an assistant, but because I went for the capacity, I think I can afford to just increase the learning limb. Now, every time a piece of equipment is played, it gains plus 4 damage permanently. Compelling. We have Resin Block, which is unfortunately bugged at the moment. When a friendly unit dies, apply plus 10 damage to that unit. It doesn't count. It doesn't count when a unit dies. It is when a unit is consumed. And then also when you revive that unit. Actually, I can't keep all of the bugs that I've seen with this in my head straight at the moment. I think when you revive a unit that's been given additional damage from Resin Block, it keeps the damage, but not in all scenarios. And also, it doesn't give plus 10 damage to a unit on death. It seems to be on consumption, which is when it's no longer on the field. So Reanimate doesn't synergize with that. Dante's Footstool, Deployment Phase, draw a room card from your deck, reduce it cost 0. I mean, that's I'm already encouraged to go back to a Merchant of Arms. And I've already got a deployable room, so then I can just buy a very expensive room, put it elsewhere. That'd be great. On Deployment Phase, add a random craft unit to your hand. fine, but Dante's Footstool has a lot more of a lot steeper of an upside. If I do get 10 more gold, I'll come back and I'll take the parts. But we'll see what the Celestial Alcove is offering. Oh, well. Worthy sacrifice, many lives and fecundity. So many lives is an insane hit here. Throw that on the Molten Casement. It has 6 reanimate. And also, every time it dies, it applies stealth 4 to friendly units. So it becomes the full defense for the floor. However, Worthy Sacrifice is also really good on almost everyone. I would love to have control over when my units die. And Fecundity. Fecundity's not that bad either. Getting additional copies of those Molten Encasements. Like, I do... Here's the thing, right? Many lives going on Entombed Explosive allows me to play the Entombed Explosive and the Organ Harvester without having to worry. Like, it makes it much easier to set up. And that was really, really good for me. It did a lot of my damage. That said, obviously, as soon as I'm not dealing with lines where 65 damage kills an enemy, that's going to lose a lot of power. Oh, boy. I do like how Molten Encasement can literally just keep a unit alive for basically forever. I think the Organ Harvester thing, like that's a fun trick that my deck can do at the moment with the Entombed Explosive. It's not a long-term thing. I'm going to take many lives. I'm going to put it on the Molten Encasement. I would also not be surprised if I end up putting the other 2 on the Molten Encasement as well, giving me the ability to not perma-stealth, but effectively perma-stealth floors. Wait, no, you don't want Reanimate and Worthy Sacrifice Fecundity on the same unit, do you? No. That's fine.
Total misplay.
Alright, what line do you prescribe, friend? That is 110. So right, left. Merchant of Trinkets. Not half bad because there's an Entropic Well there, so I'll have the ability to dupe probably the Molten Encasement. Merchant of Magic. Still no Merchants of Steel allowed for me. Then I have to go left to the Merchant of Arms. I am happy to go to a Merchant of Arms. Unfortunately, again, avoiding a Merchant of Steel. I literally never get to see a Merchant of Steel this entire run. Well, this entire run, rather. I got one at the very start. But if I fulfill this line, I won't be able to see any. Start a battle. Enemy units sprint each floor. Completely fine with that. I'm gonna have to defend the top two floors manually. So it's probably something like Boiler Room here, Baron, Grail, Pincushion, hit top line, and then the rest is just chumps, Wickless, and Makeshift hit mid. I'm going to get a lot of corruption on Baron Grail if I do it like this. Alternatively, I could also put the Molten Encasement on the top floor, which prevents me from having to use Drip Fall. It's pretty good. However, if I am going to do that, you play a Shard, that, then you use a Drip Fall still. Right, because you get to draw for a unit. Oh, hang on. Entombed Explosive, you're not supposed to survive. Played it in the wrong space. There we go. Because we do need these units on the top floor to die. Otherwise, I don't get their equipment. I'm going to give Organ Harvester to the makeshift. I'm going to make that work. Scissor Hands goes on the top floor. I'll be using an Erratic Assistant as a chump block on the midline. And another Erratic Assistant as a chump block on the midline. Yeah, I need to actually slay enemies here for the makeshift golem to be able to do much. So I'm intentionally not choosing to use explosive reaction there. Also, I don't need the energy it would give me this turn. I want them to die at the resolution phase, because then the boiler room takes that additional energy and gives it to my next turn. There it is, the Forevermore Serum. Oh, wow. As well as the Spike of the League, which at this point I definitely think goes on the makeshifts. Some better defense for that field. Assistant gets played on top. Vampire Tooth for Baron Grail, so we can start collecting a bunch of lifesteal, because that could be relevant. Vengeful Shard draws us a card. And then hopefully these Perimeter Molds, nice, get both one-size units. I intentionally placed them so that they would all die at the end of this turn as well. "16 turns of stealth on this top line. The enemies literally don't get to hit us. All the Scissor Hands immediately know where they go. I'm gonna Echo of the Time Father. play a couple of these primitive molds, though. Nice. Explosive reaction is exactly the kind of thing that we want to see for the bottom line right now. So the top line already definitely gets the win. I don't have to worry about that. We are going to be winning. There's no additional permanent resources I can gain. That'll do it then. Get him! That was like 140 armor at its peak. 144, I assume, which would be 12 by 12. So that's like 12 deaths that we managed to get on the makeshift golem. Pretty good. Oh! Hello. This is fun. Reanimation Lab. Guess what? That's a room. We would get that in deployment phase. Friendly units gain plus 7/7 on summon and reanimate. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Risky operations also pretty cool. Reduce a friendly unit to 1 health. Apply plus 10 damage and lifesteal 2. But Reanimation Lab is exactly where my heart is at right now. Sacred Wicks reform 2 random units. Honestly, I do want to be bringing units back constantly. Subsuming Blade, piercing, deal 5 damage on Slay. Increase the damage by 3 permanently. It's good. It is good. It's very good. Good spell. I don't think Sacred Wicks makes that much sense in my deck. I already reform a bunch of random units. Like, I feel like I almost have more reform than I have units to reform. And as soon as I cut the Spear Stewards, will it swing enough? No, because I could just cut individual sources of makeshift if I need to. No, I'll take Sacred Wicks. I mean, I do have a good amount of money, so... Alright, look at the trinket. Another Reanimation Lab. I don't know about that. Boiler Room Reanimation Lab, Reanimation Lab. I think Reanimation Lab is basically the makeshift golem, Wickless Baron, and summons line. But it could also go on Baron Grail's top line. But also Molten Encasement could go on the makeshift golem and Wickless Baron line. Bloodthirsty Blade we could get and start growing. Main problem with Bloodthirsty Blade is that there's very few units who hold it very effectively. No one slays that much. On summon and reanimate. So what if I gave you the Worthy Sacrifice as well as Fecundity, and then I just filled fields with Molten Encasements and just kept exploding them? And then I had 2 floors of that, and they were both floors with Reanimation Labs. Would that be good? I don't know, let's find out. Units get an extra upgrade slot. Nice, but I don't get to really utilize it that much. Equip units gain armor 10. Really good. But yeah, I don't get another opportunity to utilize that. Turn after deployment phase, draw until you have 10 cards. That is a really good way to try and very quickly get to my first Molten Encasement. And I think I'll do it. So we're going right, left. Penitent Breaststone spawned on each floor. Not bad. Helps me kill my own units. So here I can set up low. Lowest floor. Boiler Room is competing at the moment because obviously it wants to happen on the Harvest floor, but so does Reanimation Lab. So it's like... But I need the energy from the Boiler Room. So Boiler Room, Wickless, Makeshift. Then we've got Reanimation Lab with Baron Grail and Pincushion behind. Oh my god, the Erratic Assistants come out with so much health. They get the additional 7 from the Reanimation Lab, and then they get an additional 10 because they come in and are equipped already. Cool. Molten Encasement for the bottom line. Sure, that's probably where that goes. I mean, at least one of them certainly needs to. I'm going to throw a Spear Student on the bottom line, but I'm going to use another card first. Organ Harvester, I guess. Then Spear Steward in the front line. Trying to get a couple more harvests. There's our final Reanimation Lab for the top line. Another Erratic Assistant gets summoned, and good lord, they're not getting killed. Someone kill my assistants. Won't somebody kill my assistants? Thank you, bottom line, for the additional energy. Sacred Wicks, unfortunately, fulfilling the curse I'd placed upon it earlier of saying that it's not going to be useful. I'm going to drip fall that one. Summon a new Erratic Assistant on the line. Play a Spear Steward up here just so that I can confirm the kill on a Collector. I could hold here, and maybe I will. So that I can keep the Sacred Wicks in hand for a turn that needs more restoration. Such as this one, where a bunch of units die. I can Spike of the League my monstrosity. And who's up doing it? That should... It should be good for the bottom line, but the problem is, without that many slays on the bottom line, it doesn't really support that much. I need reach, even if it's just spikes. Although, admittedly, this clan combination doesn't make spikes especially easy to get. There's a little bit of access of spikes in both of these clans, not much though. Sacred Wicks, bring me back a couple cards. Thank you kindly, that counts. Oh, big Spear Steward. Seriously, very big Spear Steward. Okay, yeah, the bottom line is enough for Wickless Baron to just push straight through him. Let's go for a couple more permanent ups. That'll do it. The 1 health assistance coming in with 18 health, courtesy of the additional armor and reanimation lab. It's pretty wild. I did not expect it. Second Organ Harvester, definitely too much. I don't even have a unit that really wants to hold it that much in the first place. Surgical Strike, deal 4 damage, slay. Add a copy of this card with ephemeral to your hand. So, in a world where Entombed Explosive did have a Organ Harvester on it and a line of enemies that was relevant, the Surgical Strike could just trigger it. Should be pretty good. I think it's probably Horrify. Get another copy of Dazed, a little bit more control over positioning of enemies. Remnant Host. Extinguish summon 2 draft units. Now, I like that just because it's a unit that dies that summons 2 units that die, so it's really good for Harvest Floor. But also, the Reanimation Lab would be seeing 7/7s getting added to those draft units. I'll take Remnant Host. Unfortunately, the Remnants will have Burnout, which is fine, but it does mean it's probably not the best target for all of the additional upgrades. So it was right, right, left, right? Intrinsic and Holdover. Hello. I want that to be a lot more relevant than it is. Let's look at the Celestial Alcove first. Minion upgrades, not up bad. Titan Skin 5 free units, Rage 5, permanently gain Rage 1, or gain 2 additional damage for every missing health, which is... This one's... remarkably bad. Savage Heart. Savage Heart's certainly good in circumstances. Like, it's probably really good on Makeshift Golem. The only problem is I've got the Molten Encasements, and it's better on them. Unpurgeable, undeployable, units in hand cost +1. That's pretty annoying for me. It's in the deployable phase, so it's actually even more annoying. I'm leaning towards leaving without taking anything. I don't think any of these benefit me so much more than not having them. Which is a shame. God, I want Holdover to be relevant right now. It's worth noting, -1 cost intrinsic is, it's good to guarantee that the card's in my opening hand, but it's not giving me the additional draw factor of putting the card in my opening hand anymore because my opening hand is already going to have 10 cards in it. I do need explosive reactions eventually to deal decent damage. I don't think I hold one over. I don't think I hold any of these over. I think I'm just going to roll. Permanently remove consume from Spike of the League is huge. Plus 10 magic power for the explosive reaction that I just upgraded. It's pretty good too. -1 cost for a Spike of League so that it's giving additional reanimate every time. Sounds good to me. Double stack would be even better, but take what you can get. Permafrost for Sacred Wicks is overboard. I don't need to spend 40 to get that. Wonder if I can get away with playing my Baron Grail line on the bottom. And then Boiler Room goes on the cleanup line. Because I want the big initial damage to be able to push through the large units in the front line. Otherwise, I'm going to have a lot of difficulty. Okay. Dripfall the boss, then hit an explosive reaction on a unit. Perfect. It's fine to get that much corruption on the Sanguine. Spike League can go on the next floor. I don't need to hold these cards for the next turn. But I suspect these are 5 pretty useful cards to just get Permafrost on right now. Okay, our bottom line is a lot more immediately impactful than I thought it would be. I don't really have space for all of these. Lifesteal for the bottom line. Our Remnant Host gets summoned. Erratic Assistant. Chumps for another Erratic Assistant. Scott and Toll helps us play another Erratic Assistant. 100 additional health is going to be given to Misshapen Fiend at the end of this turn. I don't think so. I'm going to prevent that. Best way I can do that right now looks to be dazing Kale. Oh, I just gave Kale spikes. Okay, that could be pretty bad. Let's see how this one resolves. Perfect. Remnant Host is exactly the unit that I want for the mid line. It's just energy. It's just free energy. One of the next cards, Molten Encasement. I need one of these units on the bottom line to die. Just to make space for the Molten Encasement that will eventually need to be there. That'll do it. And I think I can summon it at the front there. It's not going to need any more reanimate. It's got more than enough. Spike of the lead, eh? I haven't had a giant spike of the league there, and I was like, nah, I just don't want to play this. I absolutely should have played it. Not going to make a difference, though. But to be fair, I thought we were... I didn't think they were going to get anywhere near even this far. This is just going to be the result of my own hitting of the enemy's shield consistently there. Shield spikes, sorry. Yeah. 16 turns more left on stealth for Baron Grail when they die. Remnant Pact, consume to apply endless to a friendly unit. Not half bad. Especially in this kind of a deck. That said, I have so much reform that I really don't think I need that. Any of the units I reform, I do want to let them die again. Brain Transfer, however, to Ember sacrifice a unit, then transfer damage and all buff and debuff effects to the front friendly unit. That would give me the ability to kill some of my assistants in the backline, which does need to happen. Does need to. Also, it just gives me the control over killing my own units, which is also something that needs to happen. Tome of Horrors, apply Unstable 50 and Reanimate 1. Notably, would be pretty insane on any Molten Encasement unit. It's just 50 damage to all enemies. I've got to think about how well I scale into the late game. Because right now, I would struggle to do 400 damage to a single unit. And next line, I might be asked to do 500 damage to 2 units in a row. I think Brain Transfer is the only one there that helps me with that. I don't think Capacity makes any more sort of sense to me. Draw certainly does. Energy does a little, but more than that draw. We don't get the benefit of the draw on the first turn, but every turn after that we do. And then it's got to be left. Hello, Zone of Silence. You compel me. Swiss Tail Dagger is pretty interesting, quick on a unit. If I had Sweep on any of my units, it'd be more interesting. Zone of Silence giving us the ability to silence our enemies' silence. It's pretty good. But if I survive the next fight, realistically, I want the double line of reanimation labs. Maybe I take a Zone of Silence and I just play it if I need to. Void Armament. Multi-strike for a unit. Purge it from your deck on Extinguish. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that Pincushion will never be extinguished. Actually, I kind of can. Only problem is I can't play it on Pincushion because then I can't play any more equipment on Pincushion. That's the real downside. That said, does it need multi-strike? I don't think it does. Put a tool in our opening hand. I could put Reanimation Lab in my opening hand so it's more likely to draw the free Zone of Silence, but honestly, that's not important to me. Shield's Quarters, Equalizing Ring? How about you? No, no one's got ridiculous health like that. Well, that's unfortunate. When equipped, says Baron Grail, apply 8 additional damage to friendly units. That admittedly would be better for the line. I am gonna go Learning Limb again because I do always, at least once, want to go all the way with the champion's line. And this is a good opportunity to do that, I think. Penitent Pressstone spawned on each floor, completely fine. I do want those units. Gonna have to set up damage as low as I can. Which means Reanimation Lab, Baron Grail, Pincushion. Next floor, Boiler Room, Wickless, Makeshift. I don't have Brain Transfer in this end, right? No. Erratic Assistant. Erratic Assistant. A Sanguine. And then I can use the Explosive Reaction to push a little through. Yeah, that about Gladiator is basically going to go all the way to the top. Thankfully, I do have a lot of high health. I will take this opportunity to hold these cards. Having especially just a Drip Fall in hand appeals to me. Letting all of the assistants die also appeals quite deeply. Molten Encasement Reanimate. I have one of those for a later fight. I can't have both of these Ragewing Assassins getting to the top line, unfortunately. Or to the next line, rather. Which does mean units on this line are surviving. I need to draw Sacrifice or Explosive Reaction so I can remove some of my own units. Unfortunately, they'd be too healthy for the Surgical Blade. It's just an erratic assist in the ball. And another one for the top line. This isn't good. Exactly what I was saying. We just don't have the damage for these units right now. This one only does 12 damage to me, which is nice. If you go up 1, 2... I want it to go up in the same line, I guess, as a Avowed Gladiator. No, wait. It doesn't matter. You'll do 27 damage no matter what. You'll do 12 damage no matter what, right? Yeah. I guess this way gives us slightly more of a chance to be able to generate some additional damage. Also, I didn't manage to get the collector on the bottom line, which is always heartbreaking. We use explosive reaction on the bottom line. If I move the Avowed Gladiator down, can I prevent any combat? Can I prevent anything from getting to... Oh, nice. Smelt Encasement draw is huge. Can I prevent anything from getting to the pyre by using Drip Falls appropriately in the next couple of rounds? I win against the boss. I just don't win against the units right now. I say don't win. I'll lose a lot of health against them, which will make it much harder to win in the long term. Alright, Sacred Wicks, what do you got? I think I'm gonna have to use Brain Transfer on the top line. I need to put a lot of damage up there. Oh no. Our Remnant host is surviving. That's not what you want to see. So this will only go up and hit us 4 times. Merchant of Arms, Pyramanes, Empyrean Well. That's not the side I wanted to go to. If it's the side I have to go to, it'll be the side I have to go to, though. Yeah, because we can kill the Avowed Gladiator on the top line, and this isn't getting to the top line. So we're now officially okay. Yep, top line's absolutely nightmarish. So glad I don't have to actually fight it. Bottom line, however, we're just gonna shred through him. And then finally, our game plan can start. Remove equipment from a unit, apply plus 30 is incredible in a world where we have a pin cushion. Heck, it's incredible in a world where we have a Baron Grail. I can dupe a Baron Grail. Get even more permanent increases for that floor. Oh, sorry, that's Replicator Ray, I mean. The Weaponized Prosthetic is also fine. Puffer Flesh. Puffer Flesh is really good for giving spikes. Only problem is, once we start getting a ridiculous amount of stealth on our units no longer spike the enemies. I'm going to take Replicator Ray. Remnant Host, Memories of the Melted, Engulfed in Smoke. I'll take another Remnant Host. Those were really useful for helping to pump damage on that midline. Alright, so Fecundity and Worthy Sacrifice. Worthy Sacrifice, the ability of the unit to pop. So pop it, it triggers its reanimate. So you can summon, pop, summon, pop, summon, pop. So they'll all gain +7 on the floor. +7 on summon, +7 on explosion. They can explode every 2 turns. Is that good enough? You summon as a 12, you go up to a 19. You're giving a bunch of energy. The more I can kill my own floor, the more energy I get out of y'all. So, like, if I had more ability to target my own units, that'd be better. Worthy Sacrifice Fecundity feels like it's a way to get a Remnant Host to give me a bunch of additional energy. But I'd really only be able to play this, like, once on pretty much every floor. Or as many as I can play of them, and then start exploding them. Which, like, it's not especially good for any floor that's not Wickless Baron right now. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing my original plan. Come on, trinkets. Extinguish triggers an additional time is pretty good. From the Wax Snuffer. Especially for those Remnant Hosts. Deal 5 damage to enemy units when a unit with burnout dies. Great. The Remnant Hosts. When you play a unit after deployment, a random card in hand is cost reduced to 0. Great. So that's 0 cost cards. Advance the back enemy unit when it enters your train. We're not especially good at killing the front enemy unit immediately. That would reveal silence units a lot of the time, though. Jackstrips I'll take. I should have looked at the Merchant of Arms. I don't know if I would have played Hall of Mirrors, to be fair, but I should have looked at the Merchant of Arms. Imperium Well gives me the opportunity, if I really want to get another copy of the Molten Encasement. I'm scared. I'm pretty scared. Because I can give 14/14 to those units and get a bunch of stealth on them, but that's not going to be especially good at killing a floor. Like, so what, 7? 7 capacity? I probably never play the makeshift golem again. So 7 capacity, I try and fill it and the next floor. Seven of like 20 damage, 140. It's really not that good. Oh, I feel like I'm fumbling this one. I really want to take benefit of the reanimation lab. Incushion's just a big guy. Another copy of Explosive Reaction would actually be okay. It can target my own unit and give it unstable, so now the units are doing AoE damage to the enemies, and also they're dying every single turn. That is the encasements. So they're growing larger. Yeah, I'm actually really confused about what I should do here. I don't know if any of these really save me out of the hole that I've dug myself. Yeah. Yeah, I don't scale my damage high enough to do anything. Boy. Second spike of the league, so I can hit these remnant hosts with a bunch of reanimate. And we'll remove a... I mean, spear stewards, shield stewards, any of them, frankly. I'll be lucky to get past entropy here. How do I want to play this line? I do need the upfront damage that the Baron Grail line offers on the bottom. I don't think I need the energy from Boiler Room that much, so if I found a way to benefit from playing another unit, I could. I want to play Seraph at the Boiler Room top floor? No, I can't. Of course. Boiler Room bottom floor. Baron, Incushion. I will play the makeshift golem, but I'm gonna hide units behind it. Explosive reaction takes out the entire bottom line for us. Handy. Let's get you to destroy a remnant host on this floor. Pop an entombed explosive behind it. Gives us the ability to throw our 3 units away on the top line. This molten encasement does not have the rest of the triggers on it. Does it just want to go on the bottom line to help keep Baron Grail safe? I suspect so. I wonder if I'm better served letting these units go to the next floor. Because I can strike them all back, but killing them here on this bottom floor gives me a huge amount of Ember on a turn where I don't need it, and it prevents the 2 erratic assistants who do need to die from doing their duty. And in fact, I'll unstable my own unit, affording me the opportunity to play it again. With Burnout, which will cause it to die again. I'm also going to Echo the Time Father just 2 reforms to hold in hand. Nice. I forgot that all the Purified Souls were going to die from the jack strips as they moved up. So when they did, I was very excited about it. Explosive reaction, unfortunately, I don't have enough damage on it to kill the Deafening Herald straight up. That said, I'm fully stealthed, so the enemies don't get to hit me. That's fun. Yeah, unfortunately, the additional equipment I played to the bottom line isn't really triggering either of the abilities right now, but it is also important to play. It gives us the ability to kill the Scarred Sentinel in the front line. I think it's Molten Encasement time. I think the time is Molten Encasement time. Oh my god, the copy that gets added back to my hand gets added back to hand after getting the +7/7 from the Animation Lab. This build's actually sick. It's actually the best build of all time. Let's brain transfer the Mr. Harvest Man. Not Harvest Man, Mr. Meat Man. That's a full floor. I'm going to Dritfall that down, overstack this floor, then get started on the next floor. I do obviously want the other reanimation lab to be there first. Yeah, it gets so much more scaling if I let the other reanimation lab be there first. I mean, this realistically should be what I freeze. With all of these molten encasements, I could probably make a good argument for playing a Zone of Silence now. Definitely also worth noting that I can use the Flicker's Liquor to bypass the costs of a lot of things. Yeah. It definitely seems like a good idea. I like this big spike of the League on the Remnant Host and letting it just summon 4 drafts a turn on the top line. Because it'll still have Burnout 1, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's still got Burnout 1, so at the end of this turn, all those drafts in front of it are going to die, then the Remnant Host dies and summon 4 more drafts. We're up to 54 turns of... Sorry, 78 turns of stealth on all of the units on that line. See, this is the thing. The Avowed Gladiator is still threatening to go all the way to the top. Single Scissorhands on the top line, I think, gets us there, actually. Yep, so it does. Oh, but only if I don't play either of these Curses of Entropy. Take 6 damage from that, or take 9 damage from the Avowed Gladiator. I think I'll take the 6 damage from this, thank you. Second copy of Baron Grail for the bottom line. Doesn't really accomplish anything right now, now that all of the equipment's already gone. Mm. 9 damage now. How dare you? Thank heck for jack strips. Stays the boss, prevent the summon there. I can let all of these units gain additional damage because they're not... Scarred Sentinel doesn't get to the top line because we'll kill the... we'll be killing on bottom. Yeah, even more days for you, thank you. Actually, that was really bad. This Avowed Gladiator now gets to the top line with a lot more health. Yeah, I'm not allowing you to descend that turn. That was unfortunate. I guess there's also a world where I could drip fall the unit from that floor instead. Actually, I'm going to drip ball. There you go. You took 3 damage moving claws. You're about to take another 3 damage moving claws again. And then I get to use all of my molten encasements here to get a bunch of buffs because they all get reanimated, so they get plus 7/7. Top line's got it handled. Oh, wait a second. Can I do this? Okay, all the cards in my hand is 0 cost. I play an erratic assistant. It 0 costs. Oh, no. Oh, I'm not even gonna. I was wondering if I can 0 cost the molten encasement with Flicker's Liquor, and then play a 0 cost molten encasement, and then a 1 cost, and then a 2 cost, and just keep going up from there. I suspect I would be able to as well. I need to find some way to translate what I do into damage, because, like, as soon as I have to deal with 500 health units, I'm screwed. I could brain transfer. I mean, you have reanimate, right? So I can brain transfer your damage to another unit just to keep your damage on the field. That's pretty good. Oh, it brain transfer. So it kills you, and then it does all of your buffs and debuffs, which, as it turns out, includes all of your reanimate. That's okay. I still have the ability to apply it back to you. So this molten encasement, this one, has stealth 284. Nice. If anyone wants to threaten that unit for the next 284 turns, they're gonna have to come through me first. I suspect I'll get a lot more mileage out of making sure that I keep the Wickless Tycoon as... Not Tycoon. Thug? No, not Thug. Which one are you? Baron! I suspect I'll get a lot more mileage out of keeping the Wickless Baron on the same floor as the Remnant Hosts with Reform on it. I do need another reanimation lab on the top line, but I'm gonna have to deal with this one first. Makeshift Golem literally will die after the first round. First 2 rounds, actually. So you'll be fine. Well, that's incredible. Spike of the League, as well as... Oh, nice. The Remnant Systems are going to do well here as well. Take out my own unit prematurely. Gives me the ability to resummon it with primitive mold on the bottom floor. Also gives me its equipment. Okay. Then I primitive molds. I'll just throw away a Spear Steward on the top line. There's a point to this hesitation, I promise. We play Erratic Assistance on midline, because I know that it's going to die at the end of the turn. Gotta see if it's Burnout. That now 0 costs the Forevermore Serum. I'm going to use the Forevermore Serum immediately on Pincushion, and then I'm going to kill Pincushion to give 125 damage to Baron Grail. This is just so that I have more damage to work with on the bottom line. Immediately more damage as well. It also results in us getting additional energy, so now I have 8 energy to put into the spike. And all of that is going to go into the backmost of the Remnant hosts. As for holding 2 Reformation cards, not especially relevant this turn, can be relevant long term, but I think I'm probably better served using this to hold a Molten Encasement for the right turn. Right. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted to see on that floor. Savagery pushes through both of the front 2, so we'll summon 4 drafts, and then they'll all attack. Spike the League is back, of course. In terms of dazing units, dazing Dominion isn't that great, honestly. And I definitely don't want to send Savagery down a floor right now. Don't I? No, stopping you from getting multi-strike doesn't matter in a world where I'm going to be eventually fully preventing your damage. Fine. We got all the energy we needed from the last turn. So now it's time for Zone of Silence on the bottom floor. Then I'll Dripfall the Chosen Assassin, so I don't have to deal with the multi-strike through us. And then all I need to do is chump block successfully. Animation set off the top line now. Replicator Ray is ready to dupe a unit for us. I think it needs to dupe Baron Grail after we give it a piece of equipment. Just because Baron Grail keeps most of the damage because it's base damage rather than equipment damage, which it is on Pincushion at the moment. We'll take 5 damage for the top line, unfortunately. And there is basically the last turn that I could afford to draw this Molten Encasement. I'm going to have to play out all of the entropy first. Let's give lifesteal to one of you. I really want another piece of equipment for a future turn. Hmm? Okay, yeah, no, I am getting a large version constantly. Good. Alright, and then let's see if this works. Go ahead and play both those, then. No, Radic Assistant can't zero cost the worthy sacrifice that temporarily had its cost increased. Interesting. Not what I thought would have happened there. Just got chosen on going up through the next line. I want to slow speed, see how this midline resolves. How does this trample damage work? Do you summon, especially the trample multi-strike? Because, yeah, you'll summon 4 drafts. And then are you killing them? Yes, you are, immediately. And then Corruption summons another 4 drafts at the end of the turn. But ahead of the burnout, so they don't die. Interesting. Getting pretty close on Dominion. Savagery, less so. Entropy, we've basically made no marks in. Certainly a problem. Also, my board is pretty much locked at this point. It's dealing 100 damage on the top line. Like, ugh. Ugh. Another multi-strike, this mid lane, and Wickless Baron actually starting to push reasonable damage seems like our most reliable path to becoming useful. Thankfully, that erratic assistant dies at the end of this turn, so I'll get another piece of equipment to put on Baron Grail, though you already have 2 reanimates, so I don't necessarily need to play that on you. Highlight, honestly, not relevant anymore. There's going to be at least 4 more turns in the fight. Dominion is going to die to that. Savagery is also going to die to that over time. Entropy is the one that I need to find a way to work on. Just imagine how wild Resin Block would be here if it worked on death triggers when Reanimate also triggers. Because a unit still triggers Extinguish, and Extinguish says when a unit dies. So, the unit has died, still triggers Slay, still triggers Harvest, all of the things that say on death triggers. Anyway, I've unfortunately taken so much damage away from my top line because I have to play out these Curses of Entropy constantly, so they're getting heavy sapped up there. Like, you would have 34 more damage. All of you, each of you. That would be a lot of damage. It's also heavily limiting our damage here on the bottom line, which is really bad. Getting as much AoE damage on that line as I can afford certainly seems important. Let's also give some damage to the Molten Encasement, because it'll be around for a while. We're going to have to start running into Curses of Entropy that I just don't play. Wickless Tycoon's doing pretty well out of everyone for this. Nice. Second brain transfer. Add a bunch of damage to the Molten Encasement. Wickless Baron can only give it to units that are going to die, so that's not especially relevant. Chosen Zealot is currently looking very threatening. As in, currently looks like it goes to the top line and kills me. I'm probably going to need to drip fall that next turn at least. At least. I'm gonna try something dumb. Spike of the League, you. Then gain some energy. Then Sack and pass it forward. Yeah, unfortunately, the draft definitely dies. I was really hoping it would end up with enough reanimate to be able to stay on the line for just a second, do 500 damage, push that. That would have been huge. Having a bit of trouble there, friend? Okay, good, we're back. This is the crucial turn. I do need to figure out what happens here, unfortunately. Who benefits the most from another brain transfer? Does seem like it has to be bottom line. The only problem is that doesn't really help the line that currently needs it. Also, that Chosen Herald is going to be really annoying next turn. So finding a way to kill it would be really good too. If I brain transfer away from the Baron Grail, then you'll lose all of your stealth and reanimate, and you'll keep your corruption. Actually, no, you'll pass your corruption. Yeah, no one really benefits from passing their corruption forward at the moment, I thought. Yeah, it is going to be that, and then the Spike of the League. Oh my god, another brain transfer? Oh, how dare you? I really want to be able to play that here. But I have to play my reanimate. That'll kill everything except for the Chosen Herald, which is nice. Reanimate on the top line. Oh, I'm making the enemy more powerful by doing it. Sacred Wicks for an Entombed Explosive. Nice. That'll get us across the line. Woohoo! Not enough to take out the next line immediately, unfortunately. We'll be okay. Okay, I've somehow got 4 turns here to do 2,000 damage to Entropy in the backline. Granted, it did get a little easier now that the... your name. Now that Savagery is here. Just on account of Savagery has taken enough damage that I will now be pushing damage past Savagery into Entropy. It's now really relevant that I daze Dominion to save additional turns. I would like you to multicast straight through my midline a whole bunch of times. You do 37 damage. You can kill so many drafts. Please do. Incredible. So top line is resources. It's not scaling, it's resources. Finally understand that right now at the very end of the game. Gotta Dripfall him though, gotta Horrify him though, thank you, that's some additional turns. I'm really surprised that we're not taking out Chosen Supplicant already. Oh. Molten Encasement 90-90 with Burnout. So that's how I reset their costs. Oh boy. It's a lot better now. This one on the bottom floor dies at the end of the turn, so I'll be... Unfortunately, I lose all of the damage from it, but I will be able to just resummon it. Oh, hell yeah. This Chosen Assassin getting to attack is incredible for my midline. Are they all Blights, or is there a Scourge in my head as well? Hang on, let's quickly check. I think it's Scourge. Because if it is, I play Scourge, Blight, and then I play my spell, and then I can finish playing up the Scourges and Blights. Come on. Come on. I'm waiting here. I took too many game actions. Now the game's mad at me about it. Scourge. Light. Then I'll Dripfall the boss. Entropy. Discord. Incredible. The Draft Factory. This is such a wonky run. This is such a ridiculously wonky run. It's doing it though. We're getting there. We will get there. Alright. Molten Encasement. And then I'm going to Brain Transfer that encasement. There we go. Dripfall and Horrify the one in charge. Welcome back, Molten Encasement. Let's gain truly too much energy. And then give 23 Reanimate to... Who's our most vulnerable good guy? The Remnant host that was about to run out of ability to summon Remnants. Absolutely not. It is truly incredible exactly how many of those units we got to summon that turn. Was that 16 drafts in a single turn? And it looks like that'll do it. Oh! We just undid it. And there we're back to doing it. Nope, I took the doing it away. Here we go. That's the high damage version. That will be enough. Summon you on the bottom line, let you explode. Really? Alright, I shouldn't have played any additional cards. I took the win away from myself there. I took the win away from myself for a turn, to be clear. There we go. What a clean fight. We've ended the top floor with 400... literally 420 exactly stealth on our units. And I'll throw down another spike to reanimate for 47 reanimate on the Remnant host. We've got 47 by 4, rounded up. We've got just under 200. 188 additional drafts just waiting in this Remnant tomb. Incredible. I did not expect that we were going to be able to get there, but I do think the additional time that we took in the last area gave us the additional damage and spikes that we kind of needed to get through it. That is damage spikes that we needed to get through it, rather. Also, that's our win streak increase. My previous best was 5 C10 wins in a row, and now that's our 6th. New personal record for most extinguished triggers. I kind of wish I could see other things, because, like, what about most drafts? This is absolutely the most drafts that I've summoned. The Molten Encasement of Perma-Stealth was really good just for our, what's the word I'm looking for? Resources. Just in terms of giving us so much energy to be able to do other things, triggering Flicker's Liquor as many times as triggered, you know, giving stealth. But realistically, I only really needed one of these. That top floor could have been pretty much anything, and it would have been pretty much the same. Getting Replicated Ray much earlier, so I could have used Baron Grail's Artificer for even more permanent growth would have been nice, but also having an Erratic Assistant in the deck that's just 65-1 by default, pretty nice. You literally can't make this up. End with 420 stealth, and our pincushion was 69-69. Good run. With Lazarus League, I suspect. No! Oh, we're out of scenes with Lazarus League as well. Someone has to say that my name has been Rhapsody. I hope they add more scenes in the DLC free update that they're going to be doing relatively soon. The one that's including additional equipment and rooms for the base clans. Very excited for that. A special thanks this episode to Nick Starfield. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.